Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss data types in Python. Here we are going to focus numeric data types in this video. Before starting this video, recall what have we discussed in the last video. What is an identifier? What are the rules do we have to follow while framing an identifier? Is there any difference of variables of other languages and variable of Python? Can we use keyword as an identifier? How Python handles the memory efficiently? After watching this video, you will be able to know basic of data types, primitive data types, and about the user-defined data types. What are the numerical data types? What is type conversion? About another number systems like binary, octal, and hexadecimal number system. Try to understand the definition of the data type. Data types or the classification or categorization of data items. What does it mean? We have several types of the data. One data may be in the form of number, one data may be in the form of name or a text. The categorization of those data items is nothing but data types. In simple terms, data type represent type of the data present inside a variable. With help of the data type, we can decide what type of the operations can be performed on that data. Suppose if the data is numerical data, we can perform all the arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and so on. If it is a text data, we cannot perform division operation, multiplication operation. So this is the meaning of third point. Depending on data type of the data only, we can decide what type of the operations can we perform on that data. At the beginner level, so many people may get the doubt. Do we have the data types concept in the Python? Let me give the explanation for that. In C, C++, Java, if you want to create the variable, we need to follow this syntax. First we need to write data type space variable name space value you want to store in that variable. For example, int is a data type, number num is my variable name, assignment operator, value I want to assign to the number is 10. When you are declaring the variable, you must write the data type before the variable name. It is compulsory. If you write int before the variable name, the particular compiler may get the information that this variable can store this type of the values, integer type of the values. But coming to the Python, the syntax we used to create the variable and store the value is variable name assignment value. Here we are not writing the data type. That is the reason so many people may get the doubt there is no data types concept. We are not writing the data type before that variable name explicitly, but internally for every data there is a data type. See the example in the Python, variable name assignment value number assignment 10. Here I am not specifying the data type externally, but internally the PVM knows the data type of this variable depending on the value you are storing. That is the only difference, but we have the data type concept in the Python also. Based on the value we are assigning to that variable, based on the value we are providing to that variable, the data type of that variable will be decided by the PVM at runtime automatically. As a developer, as a programmer, you are not writing that. That's it. So that is the reason Python is called dynamically typed language. The basic categories in the data types. In the data types, we have two major categories. Those are built-in data types and user-defined data types. Data types already available in the Python are called built-in data types. Example, int, float, string. These are called predefined data types or built-in data types, or you may use primitive data types. And coming to second category, data types which can be created by the programmer is called user-defined data types. As a programmer, you can create your own data types also. That type of the data types are called user-defined data types. Example, class, module, these are called user-defined data types. You can create your own class, You can create your own module. You can give your own name to your class. You can give your own name to the module. These are user defined. Then in the built-in data types, again we have 4 subcategories. Those are numeric data types, sequences, sets, and mapping. Coming to the numeric data types, again we have 3 subcategories. Those are int, float, complex. These numeric data types work with the numerical values. So let us start the discussion about the numeric data types one by one. First one is int data type in the numeric. We can use int data type to represent whole numbers or integral values, means the number without a decimal part. Example 10, 598, minus 985, positive and negative values. All are belongs to the int only. Age assignment 20. Here age is called int type variable because we are storing integer value into this variable. That is the reason we are calling age is an integer variable. There is no limit for the size of the int data type. If you observe C, C++ and Java, there is a limit for the integer values to store into the variables. But here there is no limit. You can store any length of the value also. So as we discussed already, the major versions in the Python are Python 2 and Python 3. So coming to the point regarding to the integer, in the Python 2 version, if you want to store very lengthy value, you can use long integer data type. But coming to the Python 3, there is no long data type. Just you can use int data type. We can store the lengthy values also. We can representing these integer values in binary form, octal form, in the hexadecimal form also. Let us try to know the information about these number systems. Decimal number system. The base value of this decimal number system is 10. Generally in our daily life, what is the number system we use is decimal number system. We are using 10 different digits, nothing but 0 to 9. What is the number we are using? That is combination of 0 to 9 only. 0 to 9 means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 9. This is the default number system in Python. See the example, suppose A assignment 10. Binary number system. The base value of this binary number system is 2. We are using only 2 different digits in the binary number system. Those 2 different digits are 0 and 1. If you want to store any integer value in the binary form, that value should be prefixed with 0b. Here you can use lowercase b or uppercase b, two are valid. For example, I want to assign a integer value in the binary form. My variable name is A assignment. I want to store this value in the binary form. As per the rules, you must write 0b first. Next number system is octal number system. In any number system, the starting value is always 0. So here complete different digits are 8. So starting with 0 and ends with 7. So you can use 0 to 7 only. If you want to use 8, that is invalid. If you want to assign any integer value in the octal number system, that must be prefixed with 0 and O. Here capital O or lowercase o, two are valid. Next number system is hexadecimal number system. Hexa means 6. Decimal means 10. So here totally we are using 16 different characters or digits. So 0 to 9 and A to F. Totally we are using 16 different digits and characters. Here A to F you can use capital letters and lowercase letters, two are valid. If you want to assign any integer value in the hexadecimal number system, that value must be prefixed with 0x. Coming to the float, we can use this float data type to represent decimal point numbers. So in this example, number assignment 10.25, here number is called float type variable because we are storing a floating value into the number. We can also represent the floating point values by using the exponential form also. This exponential form is also called scientific notation. To implement this exponential or scientific notation, we use the character E. Lowercase e or uppercase letter E, two are valid. Here the e represents power 10. For example, if we write 6.7 e power 4, the meaning of this is 6.7 into 10 to the power of 4. The main advantage of this exponential or scientific notation is we can store a big values using less memory. We can represent integer values in decimal, binary, octal and hexadecimal forms. We already discussed that. But we can represent float values only by using the decimal form. You cannot represent the float values in binary, octal and hexadecimal format. Third category of the numeric data types is complex. A complex number is of the form of a plus bj, where a is the real part and b is the imaginary part. J is the square root of -1. Here a and b are maybe integer values or floating point values. 2 plus 7j, here a and b, 2 are integer values. 8 plus 5.5j, here a is integer but b value is a floating value. 0.7 plus 0.5j. In this third example, 2 are floating values. These 3 are valid of complex types. In the real part, if we use integer value, then we can specify that in decimal part or octal part or binary part or hexadecimal part, all are valid. But coming to the imaginary value should be in the decimal only. Let us see some examples to understand these topics. So before implementing the data types concept programs, we need to know some predefined functions. First one is type. This type inbuilt function is used to check data type of a variable. Next, id. This id function is used to get address of an object. Then print function, it is used to print the values. We implemented this print function so many times. In this I am going to implement type. Say this example, number assignment 5. So as per the rules, no need to specify the data type before the variable name. Is it working as a integer data type or not internally? That will be clarified with this example. Now I am using type predefined function that will return what is the data type of that variable. Click on run. Class int means we have the predefined class int. Here number is a object to that int class. What is class, what is object will be covered in the OOPS concept in detail. But as of now, what we are implementing is we are trying to know the data type. Okay, now we can get the clarity whenever we are assigning the integer value. Internally, the PVM treats this number variable as an integer. Implement the same thing for the float variable also. Now I want to know, is PVM treating this variable number as a float type or not? For that again I am using type. Execute this. Class float. So number is float type in this example. Okay, even though you are not specifying float before the variable name, this number data type is float type. You can check it the third also, complex numbers. Take any variable name, assigning any complex value and using the type, you can know the type of that. And I am trying to execute this. See now, this is the output of this program. Class complex, here number belongs to the complex type. Then we covered one point, integers can be of any length. To prove that statement, so I am taking this example, I am assigning a very lengthy number. We are assigned that and we are printing that value successfully without any error. Type conversion. So as per your requirement, whenever you want to convert one data type value into the another data type, you can convert it. That process is called type conversion or type coercion. To implement this in Python, we have several inbuilt functions. You can convert from one type to another with int, float and complex inbuilt functions. See this example, x assignment 1, here x is the integer variable, y assignment 2.8, this is the float variable, z assignment 1j, this is the complex variable. 1j means 0 plus 1j, you can assume that. If you want to convert into the float, use the float predefined function. Within the parenthesis, you need to write that variable name. That variable automatically converted into the float. Now after converting that value into the float, I am assigning that result value into the variable a. In the same way, I want to convert a float value into integer value. In our example, y is float value. So I want to convert that float value into int. After that, in the same way, I want to convert the integer value x into the complex values. For that, I am using inbuilt function complex. After converting into complex, the resulted value I am storing in the variable c. After converting, I want to print the values of a, b, c. Those values will be printed. After printing the value, I want to know the data type also for more clarity. Okay, the data type of a and b, c. Here the important point is, we cannot convert complex numbers into the another number type. I am not converting the complex number z into any another type. That is invalid. We can't do that. Now see the output. First one is 1.0. This is the value of a. What is a? Actually, x value is 1. I am converting into the float and that value will be stored into the a. So after converting the x value into float, the integer value 1 will be converted into the float. That is the reason that has the floating nature. The 0 will be added. What is b? I am converting y value is integer type. What is y? 2.8. So 2.8 is converted into the integer, then stored into the b. That value will be printed. 2.8 will be converted into the integer, so the decimal point will be deleted. Coming to the c, the x value 1 will be converted into the complex type. So what is x value? 1. The 1 will be converted into the complex data type. That is the reason to that 1, 0j will be added. 1 plus 0j, because that is the complex format. So for more clarity, did they converted or not? Actually, if you want to know, I am using type predefined function. What is the data type of a? This is float type. Okay, so we converted integer value float type and stored in the value a. Now that is a float type. And what is the type of b? Int type. So after converting, b act as an integer variable. What is the type of c? After converting into the complex, we store the value into the c. So c obviously act as a complex data type. So we will get the clarity from this example. We can convert binary, octal and hexadecimal numbers to the decimal number system by using the integer method. Reverse to this, that is, if you want to convert any decimal number into a particular number system, suppose if you want to convert a decimal number system to binary number system, you can use binary predefined function, that is bin. If you want to convert any decimal value to the octal number system, you can use oct predefined function. In the same way, you can use hex predefined function to convert a decimal value into the hexadecimal number system. Let us implement this. I am taking one octal number. If you want to assign any octal number, that value must be prefixed with 0 and O. Before printing that value, what I am doing is I am converting that octal value into the decimal. As we discussed, we use int predefined function to convert a value into the decimal. The output is 183. 183 is the equivalent value in the decimal number system for this value of a. Let us try to implement reverse of this. Here I am assigning this 183 value to the another variable z. I want to convert into the octal value. So what is the predefined function we use to convert decimal to octal? We discussed already OCT octal. And z. This z will be converted into the octal value. Let us try to execute now. So try to observe what is the value we are getting here. 00267. This is the value what we have taken in the previous example. Now you can understand this. Okay, we converted one octal value into the decimal and we are taking the same decimal value into the input and trying to convert into the octal. Again we are getting the same number. Suppose I want to convert binary value to the decimal. Binary value always prefixed with 0b. This is a binary constant value or binary literal. I want to convert into the decimal numbers and I am executing this. So 7 is the equivalent value for this value in the decimal number system. I am implementing reverse to this one. Taking the decimal value 7, I want to convert into the binary value. Let us try to execute. We should get the same value again. So I am executing this. See now, we are getting same value. And hexadecimal to decimal, so this is the hexadecimal value prefixed with 0x and trying to convert into the decimal value. Run this program. Reverse of this, taking the result value 2221 and convert into the hexadecimal value, and I'm executing this. So see the value what we are getting, that is equal to the again previous value. We have seen some of the two numbers so many times as of now. How we have implemented some of the two numbers of int type in the same way. In the same way you can implement some of the complex numbers also. If you implement some of the two complex numbers, this is a straightforward. First the real part will be added and then imaginary part will be added. If you want to implement subtraction also, same thing will be applied. Assigning that value to the variable a, another complex number a plus bj format, assigning the value, assigning to the variable b. I want to implement sum of those two complex numbers. I want to know subtraction of those two complex numbers. I am executing this. So this is the output. Check your knowledge, what you learned from this video. What is the use of data type? What is the difference between primitive and user defined data types? What are the major types in the primitive data types? What is type conversion? How to convert one number system value to the another number system value. If this video is useful to you, subscribe the channel, watch and share it. Thank you.